Tonight, why Broken Hill's North Mine could soon roar back to life, and Jamestown in the midst of an economic boom in the wake of a world-first energy project that's now calling the town home.
This is Southern Cross News with Fraser Goldsworthy.
Good evening. Broken Hill's North Mine could soon spring back to life after years of inactivity. Nearly 150 people are set to be employed if the project receives the green light. Patrick Reinke explains.
Since 1993, Parelia's North Mine has been laying dormant, but that could soon turn around. Throughout this year, the company has been carrying out electrical and pit stabilisation work at the site under an interim mining plan. New South Wales Department of Planning and Environment is finalising the assessment of the $40 million project, which would employ around 140 people once operational. The North Mine is poised to become Parelia's main focus if given the go-ahead, with its southern operations and Potosi mine turning into supplementary sites. Restarting its northern operations is set to give Parelia a shot in the arm after it was forced to cut almost 100 jobs in 2016. The mining company had been planning to commence production in the third quarter of this year, but was required to submit additional information to assure the mine wouldn't affect residents adversely. Planning and Environment will be releasing an assessment report once the process is finalised. If it receives the tick of approval, it's expected to take Parelia a couple of years to get the North Mine operating at full capacity. Once up and running though, the plan in place would see the company mining lead and zinc until 2030.
A Wallaroo man has lost his licence for a year after allegedly recording a blood alcohol limit 5 times the legal limit. Police were called to a shop on Hugh Street following reports of a drunk driver. The vehicle was located just before 6:30 p.m. Police say the driver recorded a blood alcohol level of 0.265. The 55-year-old has also had his car impounded for 28 days. He'll face court at a later date. The state Liberals say they're committed to growing the regions, pledging $15 million a year in a bid to boost jobs. But Labor has hit back at the policy, saying it could amount to a loss in the long term.
A war of who's pledging to do more.
What we've seen from the Labor Party over the last 16 years is a real ad hoc approach to the regions, and some years and some budgets even forgetting about the regions altogether. In fact, one budget didn't even have a regional statement.
The state Liberals have announced a regional growth fund this week, which they say is a steady funding stream for the next 10 years.
We'll be investing a minimum of $150 million in the regions through this regional growth fund, along with all the other packages which add up to, over the next decade, about $1 billion.
Labor has swiftly hit back, saying locking in this $15 million a year with no account for inflation would amount to a loss for regional SA. Treasurer Tom Koutsantonis said in a statement the state government already invests this amount through the Regional Development Fund and that this commitment is nothing new. He says Stephen Marshall's pledge to scrap the renewable energy target could put 2,000 newly created jobs at risk. The Shadow Regional Development Minister claims the population has decreased by over 100 people from regional SA last year.
We used to be growing at about 5,000 people every year in regional South Australia, and we need to try and get back to that level of population growth. Because
the Libs say boosting exports could be the answer.
Our exports, we used to have 8% of the nation's exports, we now only have about 4%.
Amelia Simpson, Southern Cross News.
Police have uncovered a cannabis crop in Port Augusta while investigating a break-in in the town. Police say CCTV footage identified the man breaking into the Salvation Army building through the roof before he stole a number of items. Officers arrested the 28-year-old suspect in Port Augusta West, where they found 60 cannabis plants at the address. A 61-year-old man was arrested for cultivating the drug, while the 28-year-old has been remanded in custody. Jamestown has recorded an economic boom in the wake of the installation of the world's largest lithium-ion battery. Locals say the state-of-the-art energy facility is seeing tourists flock to the region like never before,
bringing the small town of Jamestown to the forefront.
It's very important because it has put this region on the map, and it's not only Jamestown, it's the whole of our council area and the whole of this mid-north region.
The whole town's got exposure from it, and you know, I can go to Adelaide and people say, oh, you're from Jamestown, and oh, you're from the town with the big battery. So
local companies were hired during the Mammoth project's construction phase. Jamestown Concrete laid the slab on which the batteries sit.
So we hired a couple extra guys on for a while and upgraded a few of our few bits of equipment and stuff.
With regular visits from Tesla employees, other local businesses have seen the financial benefits as well.
Telstra people have been very good, supporting local businesses after hours, a lot of meals and that, and obviously renting places around for the whole town. So eventually they spread a bit of their money around everywhere.
With the battery now bringing in more tourism dollars, council's now calling for the state government to improve facilities at the local hospital and the road leading to the battery site.
Is having impacts on Northern Area's council infrastructure, like the roads, the traffic, and into the future, if there's going to be tourism, we've got to be mindful of our health facilities.
Rachel Nell, Southern Cross News.
After the break, a group of Port Lincoln men band together to raise vital funds for a young kid doing it tough. Students at John Perry Secondary School in Port Pirie are now live on the airways. The JPFM student radio program is a first for the town, giving students the opportunity to learn the ins and outs of the radio industry.
I just really wanted a good opportunity for the students to be able to express themselves and brighten up the yard, give them some opportunities that they might not normally have, you know, the sort of stuff they would have to either go to Adelaide for.
JPFM is broadcasted every recess and lunchtime. The school's now aiming to expand the station to outside the school grounds. Well, Wallaroo is now officially home of the People's Choice Arts Festival, with the Easter Unearthed event cleaning up at the Ruby Awards last weekend. The awards recognise the best in the state's arts scene. The two-day festival mixed acts from the Adelaide Fringe with the local up-and-coming performers. Organisers estimated over 5,000 people attended across the 2 days.
To have this recognised across South Australia, how good our festival was, and to get us back on the map, and people sat up and took notice of us.
A Port Augusta choir is set to represent the regions in the Rundle Mall Christmas Music Spectacular. Desert Voices is preparing to join other choirs from across the state for live musical performances in the heart of Adelaide.
With voices like this, it's no surprise Port Augusta's own Desert Voices have been chosen to take part in Adelaide's Voices of Christmas.
We're the only regional choir that's been invited, so it's pretty special. We're hoping to get there.
The local group will be one of 30 SA choirs taking part in Rundle Mall's musical spectacular, kicking off with an ensemble next week.
And then each of the choirs have their own special slots in the mall later on during the 12 days leading up to Christmas.
A change from singing a cappella, Desert Voices will be performing with an orchestra and a familiar face.
We're singing with Ricky Lee and about possibly 500 voices.
All the choirs have got some backing tracks and some music that we all practice separately.
The performance will kick off next Thursday night in Gawler Place. If you're in town, Desert Voices members say come and show your support.
So there'll be all these people singing the same things at the same time. So it'll look pretty spectacular, I think.
And to just have that beautiful sound that we make together.
Amelia Simpson, Southern Cross News.
The mental health team at Whyalla Hospital is the toast of the town after receiving the prestigious community honour at the Premier's Health Awards. Management is thrilled, saying it's a reward for the work done over the last few difficult years.
In what can be at times a difficult role, there were only smiles this morning. The Mental Health Crisis Response Unit was presented with its Premier's Award for its work in the local community.
We have punched well above our weight when you consider actually this as a health awards for the whole of the state against all the health services.
The unit was recognised for its STEP program of care that it's pioneered in Whyalla. The model aims to match the patient to the treatment they require through working with local community organisations. Its aim is to ensure people get the right treatment in a local environment.
For example, somebody who's become acutely unwell, they'll go to the inpatient unit. But once they overcome the acute level of need, they'll move to community.
The team has faced the challenge of the uncertain fate of the steelworks, which saw an uptake in services.
The uncertainty, relationship issues was coming to the fore. People had taken separation packages, and so it was just a compounding factor.
The award is a triumph for the staff, who aim to ensure those with an illness can lead the best life possible.
It allows us to support people in their homes or in their communities, and you know, we're not taking them away from their social networks.
John Hunt, Southern Cross News.
A group of bearded men in Port Lincoln has banded together to raise money in a unique way for a special cause. The men parted ways with their facial hair to raise funds for a sick boy fighting a rare brain tumour.
5-year-old Jack Kemp might seem like an ordinary kid, but Jack has faced more than most his age do. Jack suffers from a condition so rare, doctors in Adelaide have never had to treat it.
There's no known cases in Australia, and worldwide there's actually not much literature either.
Jack was diagnosed with clear cell meningioma, a brain tumour that almost claimed his life in 2015. Jack's parents, Kane and Grace, have since been seeking medical help from around the globe.
We know of one other child in Russia that we've networked with.
The Port Lincoln family finally located a neurosurgeon in Melbourne who has since operated 3 times to remove tumours from Jack's brain. Local woman Shakira Baldock heard of the Kemp story through her daughter, who attends the same school. Moved by the family situation, Shakira took to Facebook, offering up her boyfriend's beard.
She questioned me if 300 likes would be okay on Facebook, so I threw it out there. 1,000, thinking it would never happen.
The idea then moved to a GoFundMe page where it quickly reached $1,000.
A whole heap of other guys got together and donating their beards.
The overwhelming response prompted a special night for the men to shave their beards together. Young Jack given the first cut.
I got to shave the beards and I got to shave them 5 times, I think.
The family was overwhelmed with the support.
Half the people here tonight we don't even know. We've met just now, and that says a lot about a town and the people in it.
The night raised more than $3,000, which will help Jack's treatment and hopefully fulfil his dream to fight fires from the air.
So there's more fire bombers.
Jason Kemp, Southern Cross News.
Still to come tonight, the last-minute preps ahead of Wallaroos carols in the park this weekend. Whyalla is preparing to sing in the Christmas season this weekend, with carols in the park returning for 2017. Organisers say with the city's fortunes looking brighter, they're expecting a bumper and joyful crowd.
Carols in the Park organisers read over the programme and checked it twice ahead of Sunday's big event. The popular event will bring together the city's most talented performers for a night of festive cheer.
Old favourites as well as new Christmas songs. Yes, a lot of returning performers from last year. They did such a good job, so we're just really excited.
The Lions Club will be raising funds on the night to support local projects. And with Whyala's future now secure, organisers are hoping for an electric atmosphere.
That lift in the community spirit and the self-esteem of the whole town is really going to just bring along that positive energy to carols in the park.
Youth culture will be a focus, with Romy Foot once again hosting the event. The recording scholarship winner Breeze Millard will also be performing.
It's good to be able to, give back to the community in the way that I can portray that enthusiasm.
Definitely been practicing. A lot of hard work and effort goes into carols in the park, and I'm just really excited to be a part of it.
And as for a visit from Father Christmas,
fingers crossed he'll take time out of his busy schedule to come to carols in the park.
John Hunt, Southern Cross News.
Well, as we know, Christmas is time for celebration, and for many of us, it's also a time for some much-needed R&R. But police are using the festive season to remind everyone about the importance of personal security.
A parked car with Christmas gifts in the back seat, it might seem like an innocent thing, but police say it's the perfect holiday gift for thieves.
The chances of being broken into does increase.
During the madness that is Christmas shopping, it's easy to get distracted in the rush.
You may lose track of your purse, your wallet, personal possessions while you're shopping. It does put you at increased risk while you're not paying attention, so it's important for that.
And the threat certainly isn't over when the festive season is finished.
And after Christmas, when you throw all the boxes of the new things you've got out in the street, it does let thieves know what you have in your house, so it is important to look at that security.
Officers say keeping an eye out for your neighbours means everyone can have a safe and happy Christmas.
If you see something suspicious, contacting police, and also if you have information about crime, contacting Crime Stoppers on 1800 333 000 is really some good ways to finish up the year.
Patrick Reinke, Southern Cross News.
Change of pace now. Time to see what's biting around the Gulf. Here's Fishing Tips.
Hi, welcome to another week around the Gulf Fishing Tips from Port Pirie. You might be forgiven for thinking that we're doing a dental ad at the moment, but this is dental floss for a shark that was seen at Third Creek yesterday with Ross Ferrero and young Bateson. He sort of had a bit of a munch and spat it out after he got the bait out of it. So pretty interesting. It's a 5.5 metre boat and the shark is about the same sort of size. So nobody was keen to go swimming over the back after that, so well done. So as we were saying earlier, crabs are all on the go at the moment, plenty of those around the place. Just make sure you only take what you need and look out for your yellowfin whiting there, Stuart, and to thunder down through this area.
G'day and welcome to this week's Fishing Tips from Port Augusta, the Jaw of the North. Well, the weather's certainly a bit different. We normally get a bit of rain in December, but certainly not this cold. Crabs are still there, but just watch the size on those. It's a nice big snook on the middle banks. Silver whiting up in the shallows and also around the Flinders Channel at low tide up in the sandbanks there as well. There are some salmon up in Port Patterson and there's still a few kingfish being caught as well.
Hi, Whalers Fishing Report this week. There's still some good salmon along the Point Lowly coastline, and a bit further around towards Becky Point there's some bigger fish down towards Becky Point, so if you get out on those rocky points that's the place to target for the bigger salmon. Also a few nice rat-sized kingfish along those points as well. Again, the local jetty's still not in action, so some of the fishers are fishing off the marina rock walls on the outside there. They're picking up some nice silver whiting and also some good-sized mullet. For the boat anglers, the crabs are starting to move in across Whyalla. Again, work the deeper waters. Squid are very hard to find, but if you work the grounds hard, you can still pick up a feed.
G'day, welcome to Fishing Tips in Port Lincoln. Well, there's been some more tuna news this week. They're certainly not thick down the coast, but they are starting to rock up, which is good news. There has been some good nanagai caught on the reefs down south of Williams Island at the moment, and a few snapper down that way too. Moving close to Port Lincoln, the squid are going well in the bay. Whiting have been pretty slow, and the crabs, there's been a few people trying for crabs, and they're still a little bit slow at the moment, but some blueies are getting caught. Moving over to Coffin Bay, not a lot of news, but there have been a few whiting within the bay and some good-sized flathead is what we're hearing. On the beaches over the far west, there's been some mulloway coming in. A few salmon are mixed in on the beaches over the far west as well, and a few gummy sharks too. Well, that's it for Fishing Tips this week. We'll see you again next week.
Stay with us. After the break, we'll have all the local weather details with Abby, and it'll start to finally feel like summer soon, Abby.
Yes, that's right, Fraser. After a burst of wet weather today, some lovely conditions are in store for the weekend. I'll have all the details next. Welcome back. Taking a look at the weather now. We saw some scattered showers for most centres today. A top of 24 for Port Augusta, 21 in Whyalla. It climbed to just 19 degrees in Port Lincoln and 23 was the top for Port Pirie. On the satellite, high cloud over far northern parts of South Australia is due to a nearby low and trough. Skies are clearer over central and eastern parts of the state under a weak high pressure system. On the Gulf waters, south-southwesterly winds between 15 and 20 knots, seas at 1.5 metres, and sunrise is just after 6 with sunset at 20 past 8. Sunny skies across the region tomorrow, but temps will stay relatively low. 23 in Port Augusta, 21 degrees for both Whyalla and Port Lincoln. Showers in Clare, just 19 the top. Looking ahead, sunny skies will continue right across the Eyre Peninsula over the weekend. Temperatures will climb up into the high 20s. Cleve will hit 32 to start the week, and a very warm one for Woodnar, 36 the top there. Further up the Gulf, it's a similar story. Whyalla staying clear, tops of 25 and 29 for the weekend, before reaching 33 on Monday. A scorching 37 the top to start the week in Port Augusta. Kadina also getting warm, a top of 32. Finally, the mercury will climb into the mid-30s in Port Pirie, 35 for Monday there. Cooler in Clare, up to 28 on Sunday. Broken Hill also getting warmer, up to 28 for Saturday, 32 for Sunday and 35 for Monday. So as promised, Fraser, beautiful summer weather is finally here.
Thanks, Abby, and that's all the news to now. Enjoy your evening. Good night.